why is he going to such lengths to rescue a perfect stranger?
Perfect stranger.
He doesn't know this woman, you know?
It makes way more sense to...
As far as we know, she's in a relationship with Donkey Kong.
And she's perfectly fine. You just don't know.
Yeah.
Lots of plumbing, lots of research.
Yeah, Charlie actually started a plumbing business.
I did.
Yeah, he gave up on Always Sunny for, what, 6 months?
6 months. In
Got
Brooklyn.
a van.
Yeah, plumbing. I did 17,000 toilets.
Yeah, he's licensed and bonded.
I am Luigi. I should be able to fix this drain. And I will.
Plumbing, yeah, I do pretty well. I don't use the coat hanger, but I've got one of the snakes that I got on Amazon. It goes down deep. And we didn't have to call anyone. You know they would have charged us a lot. I got it, and I'm walking out.
Mario style.
Dripping. Yeah, Mario style. Hey.
Got that.
We did it, but yeah, I'm good at plumbing. What was the question?
How we find our characters. A lot of this, you know, a lot of improv, a lot of trying things out, a lot of trial and error.
We're the Mario Brothers, and plumbing's a game. We're not like the others who get all the fame. When your sink is in trouble, you could call us on the double. We're faster than the others, you'll be hooked on the brothers.
It was a really exciting and daunting challenge. I mean, talking to these guys, they say, you want to do the Mario movie? I think both of us said, yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Didn't even ask like, well, what's the deal? What's the story? It's like, yes, I'm in. And then we had to really dig in and figure out who these guys are. I mean, we know Mario and Luigi. They're these ubiquitous characters, perhaps the most iconic video game characters of all time, really. It's been almost 40 years that people have been playing them, but you really don't know that much about them. So are they Italian? Are they American? We know a little bit of Charles Martinet's voice that he's sprinkled in there with the wahoo and the it's me and these Mario things, you know. But how do you craft a 90-minute narrative with an emotional through line and create a living, breathing person about whom you'll care and you'll hope that they can accomplish their dreams and that they can rescue their brothers and the brotherly love and the you know relationships with the father and all of this stuff that if you strip away the jokes and the magic and the mushrooms and the power-ups and the color and the amazing music, it should be like a pretty good drama, which really is like, the key to a great story, right?
Right, what's the heart and soul of the story? And then we would try different things and different voices, and every now and then they would say, Charlie, you know, maybe a little less Goodfellas in this one. I'm like,
yeah.
All right.
Yeah, right. They'd be like, yeah.
I think you're wrong, but fine.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just like, until they kind of landed on something they liked.
I for a minute, I walked in and they were like, that's a little New Jersey. You're doing a little Tony Soprano thing, you know? I was like,
oh, what neighborhood in Brooklyn are you talking about? Are we talking about, you know, Bed-Stuy? Are we talking about Park Slope? What are we talking about here? So we landed on it, and then I think nailed it.
I finally found it. Now who's gonna stop me?
One of the cool things about Bowser was how insecure he is. His vulnerabilities were what was really interesting and funny to me, because on the one hand, he's this fire-breathing giant monster, and on the other hand, he's this very sensitive kind of romantic who has this sort of unrequited love. He's filled with greed and jealousy. Those are fun, juicy things to play. I'm a pretty greedy and jealous person in my darker corners of my own soul. Like, for instance, I have been jealous. I just was thinking about this, of every single person in this cast. Star-Lord, I was so jealous. I was like, I want to be a hilarious superhero in a movie. Always Sunny in Philadelphia, I was like, I want to create an incredible comedy show. Key and Peele, I want to be in the greatest comedy duo of television history. And Anya, I want to be a chess champion genius. I've had that kind of jealousy in me, so in a way I felt like I was born to bring that jealousy out in Bowser. It's possible that Bowser sings a song in this movie. It's possible that Bowser has one of the great heavy metal ballads of love, but you're gonna have to see the movie to find out if that's true.
Destroy the Mushroom Kingdom!
Bowser is coming.
I'm not afraid. I'll do anything for my brother.
We're going to save him.
Yes!
When I was first approached about playing Princess Peach, I was
unbelievably excited, super honored, and also slightly terrified because I only wanted to play her if she was a 3D character, if she had her own agency, and also she's not just a princess, she's a leader. And this is where I get really, really nerdy. So if you think about it, if you're the leader of a mushroom kingdom, which is a flourishing society, and you're constantly being put in a different castle and kidnapped, you're not a very good leader, and your society wouldn't be flourishing. So I think this is the way that she was always supposed to be portrayed. I don't think I would have done it otherwise. And we've had so much fun bringing Peach to life, and what I was not expecting was how much of an emotional reaction I would have had to seeing the film. Because the idea that kids are going to grow up with this being the example of what a princess is just feels very cool and very inspiring.
You know what I think is actually very interesting is that in the film, Anya, Princess Peach, if anything, she is, as a leader, she's helping Mario. It's almost like the exact opposite of what the game used to be. If you think way back when to Donkey Kong, to the very first OG DK game, she's just standing there ineffectually next to Donkey Kong, and Mario has to come and save her, and then that ineffectualness kind of, found its way into other games. And what's so funny is in the movie, if anything, she's the one who's leading everybody, and she's the one who's helping Mario. I just love that juxtaposition, the movie to the games. So.
And in terms of their relationship together, I think it's wonderful because they both need each other in order to complete their task. Princess Peach needs to protect the Mushroom Kingdom. She needs Mario in that because he's going to help her unify everybody. And then Mario needs to find Luigi, and he needs Princess Peach's understanding of how the universes work, how the power-ups work, and so they help each other, which I think is really pretty.
I played the OG arcade game of Mario Brothers as well as the NES Super Mario Brothers game. And in that, yes, it was always either Luigi or Mario trying to find the princess in the castle. I'm sorry, Mario, but your princess in another castle. That, in fact, wasn't Princess Peach. That was just the princess. The Princess Peach came, I think, a few games later. Maybe it was Odyssey or something like that.
Yeah,
to where it was actually a fully fledged character. So the princess was just like the purpose for going through these little levels is go find the princess. But when Peach came around, she was actually a full-fledged avatar type of character for Mario Kart, one you could select to be, in also maybe Super Mario 3. I can't remember exactly when Peach came out.
It's also like, why is he going to such lengths to rescue a perfect stranger?
Perfect stranger.
He doesn't know this woman, you know?
It makes way more sense to...
As far as we know, she's in a relationship with Donkey Kong.
And she's perfectly fine. You just don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
It's all very unclear.
It is unclear. So it makes a little more sense narratively for me to be like, my brother's gone. I'll go to every length to save my brother.
100%.
Yeah, and traditionally princesses didn't marry plumbers, until they really got to know them well.
Yeah,
so
it took a while. Yeah,
that's
right. Traditionally, princesses were kind of like colonialist, nightmares. Like they would actually.
Yeah, the plumber usually, typically a plumber would not have a shot at all, not whatsoever.
No.
Right.
Because a plumber being a member of the proletariat or the serf class, it's not,
that's right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Not typically, not even having any kind of avenue to a princess. If you
Yeah, she really wanted the plumber for the plumbing. She said, if this guy rescues me, I got a bunch of sinks that aren't working. It's a castle. It's hard to keep the plumbing going.
Jack,
she does have long, luxurious hair.
Well, I'm just impressed by Chris's encyclopedic knowledge of all things Nintendo. I always assumed that the princess in Donkey Kong was Princess Peach, but now I realize I've been a fool all day talking about Princess Peach and Donkey Kong. That wasn't Princess Peach. That was just Princess.
Yeah, the character development. They were like, Princess, not good enough. Call her Princess Peach. Now we've got the character development that's deserving.
They had to test that a bunch. They went with Princess Kumquat, Princess Apple, Princess Apricot. None of it worked. Princess Pear. She was close. That came in second.
Yeah, I think it's rad how Princess Peach kicks butt in this movie. I think kids are gonna flip out over it. And also, she's a badass on the motorcycle, if you can see. Mario Kart, she's ready to go. She's probably got the best backdrop.
Oh, wow. Love these pipes. Oh.
Here we are. Palace doors. Big, big boom.
If you think about Toad in the game, really he's kind of a collection of exclamations more than anything else. So it's just lots of, these kind of sounds. And so I knew that he had to have a high-pitched voice no matter what. But what I did is I based him on a friend of mine. I based his vocal rhythms and vocal kind of syntax on a friend of mine. And then when I brought it to the director, he was like, okay, that's cool. I like that stuff. But can we get the voice, we got to get it higher because we want to make sure we're referencing all of those kind of exclamations that he's making during the games. And I was like, sure, we can. I said, yeah, we can definitely get higher. And he's like, okay, that's good what you did there, but can we get higher than that? And I was like, yeah, we can definitely get higher. And he's like, can you get higher than that? And I'm like, yeah, I can get higher if you want me to get higher. And is it even possible if you could get higher than that? And I'm not sure if I can maintain this for the entire recording session. But we dropped it a little bit and we found a nice little sweet spot for his voice. But the thing that I love most about him is that he's so willing to accept a stranger. This goes back to Charlie's point earlier. Out of nowhere, Mario touches this blue mushroom, and I'm only saying this, Jack, because it's in the trailer. And he tells him, don't touch that mushroom, you could die, right? He doesn't know Mario. Mario could be an enemy for all he knows. Mario could be a spy of Bowser's or one of the Kongs, but he doesn't. He's this kind of very trustworthy, optimistic person who's been spending his entire life waiting to go on an adventure. He has so much civic pride. He would do anything for the Mushroom Kingdom the way that Mario would do anything for Luigi. And I wanted to really imbue him with that, so that you knew that when he's ready to go on an adventure, he couldn't wait to show off the city, the Mushroom City, to Mario, because he loves the place so much.
Keegan, your ability to get your voice higher and higher and higher is
incredible.
Amazing. Do you know a way someone can make their voice lower? Asking for a friend. Are there techniques for that, or?
Did you tell the friend that you based the voice off of?
He doesn't know yet. He does not know yet.
Will he know?
I'm going to spring that on him when the movie's over. In fact, if he were watching this interview right now...
The movie's never over, bud. It's out forever.
Then I'm never telling him.
It's supposed to sound like me. I don't hear it, Keegan. Your buddy. Yeah, your buddy's going to be like, I don't know why you think it sounds like me.
Dude, I drank a lot of throat coat on this movie. Through all our recording sessions.
I did too, buddy. I did too. I had, for me, trying to maintain that voice, that was just like gallons of Earl Grey and honey in really tight pants.
Guys, who's next?
I will destroy the Mushroom Kingdom!
How do you guys do that? Because I think that was one of the first things that really I struggled with, was just going in, and I think I was doing a 6-hour session, and hour 3, I was out. It was gone. Just nothing I could really do about it other than scream, cry, and push. How do you do that?
You were like, can we just skip straight to the efforts, please? All I've got are efforts from here on out.
Efforts are the hardest part, aren't they?
Efforts are the hardest part, and they leave it to the end.
Isn't the hardest effort when you have to run? So what you're doing is you're going... And you do that, all you gotta do is do that for a minute and then fall over from lack of oxygen to your brain.
So lightheaded, yeah, you get so lightheaded.
You get so lightheaded, you're just like, hi, man.
But seriously, have you guys found yourselves getting better at this the more that you do it?
Yeah, the more you do it, the more you kind of, and it's hard to explain sometimes, but the more you figure out the tricks. There's tricks that you can do to help yourself kind of, sometimes you just talk in your head voice for a little bit instead of keeping it in your chest. Because when you're in your chest, it affects your throat more. Because I've done this a few times, and I wish I could explain it more, but there's just a way of
there's a way of making
it
more easeful, and then there's a way of just
going just grinding it through, just getting that tenacious D of it,
And it sounds like, I know it's like a kind of a cliche thing for the actors doing the vocal warm-ups, the and the red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather. But the older I get, I realize I have to warm everything up. If I'm doing something physical, I really have to warm up my body. And if I'm doing vocal work, I'll drive to the studio and I'll spend the entire studio doing a whole series of warm-ups to kind of get my voice ready to go. And otherwise, it rips it out.
You know what I got better at, I think, over the course of these recording sessions was just getting in the spirit of exploration. Like at the beginning, I was like, okay, I'm going to do the lines as well as I can, and then And I was pushing up against this, like, no, let's try something different. Now let's try it this way. Let's try it that way. Once we were like in the middle of the process, I kind of got comfortable with that. With like, okay, yeah, I'm just gonna do. I'm coming to the recording session expecting to try a bunch of different things. And once I relaxed into that, I felt like I was really in the groove, you know?
I had that same experience. The first couple ones, I was just trying to give them exactly what they wanted. And then by the third or fourth, I said, I'm just going to do some things and hopefully they'll like it.
Yeah.
And they wound up enjoying that. But I think at first they were just trying to find the voice.
It's like trying to build a whole library of options. At first, I was a little frustrated, but then once I got in the groove, I was like, oh, yeah, this is actually a fun process.
In the process, for me, I would have one of the lines, and I would just I wouldn't only say it once. I would just tell them, I'm gonna run a series until I think I have it, and then I would just over and over and over and over again. Then, and the way I ended it would always be like, I don't know, something like that. Like that was the last line. You know, like I would give them 15 options, 20 options, colloquialize, say something different, put it into my own words, different tones, and then by the end, they'd be so exhausted having heard all of them that I'm like, well, that's everything. I just emptied out every possibility, so can we move on?
Also, if they let you improvise sometimes, like you can improvise something prior to the line, and you know what I mean? Like if you sandwich the line with improvisation, it'll make the line pop. You know, it makes the line feel natural and poppy. And that was something that I tried to do sometimes, was like just improvise into the line the spirit of what you're going to be saying. It's almost like you're speaking your subtext, and then you speak into the line, do the line, and then improvise out of the line too. And then it just feels like it's their words, but it's as if it's in your own words.
I like to do a couple takes where it's like, well, this is never going to be in the movie, but I'm going to just do this just for shits and giggles, we like to say. I'm going to go crazy on this one. It's definitely going to be cutting room floor, but then that would lead to something funny that would be like, oh, well, yeah, actually, Jack, we want you to do that again, but instead of that, you know, it's the art of messing around, right?
Yeah, I know exactly that feeling. Yeah, you get like, you're like, there's no way this is going to make it in, but somehow it inspires something else, always, yeah.
And it also gives you the permission to try something that might not work. If you're like, I'm going to show you how, I'm going to do a version of it that doesn't work, but partly maybe 5% is like, or maybe it will work, but you're not going to judge me for it if it doesn't. You know what I mean? Like, here's the bad version of it, and then they tell you it to you, and you're like, that's just your idea, and you just want that, you know, you don't want me to just you for that bad idea. Like a writer will be like, the joke should be, I mean, here's the bad version of it, and then they pitch their joke.
Yeah. Completely. I'm just thinking it would be awesome to have it like one take stitched together of all of the self-judging and the expletives. Because I'm gonna do this out. Okay, can I do it again? Wait, that was terrible. Please. No, I'm just gonna, no. Don't use that. Don't use that.
Destroy
It's
that
like,
one.
keep going back. Please. Okay, let's try this again. Oh,
Oh, a rated R version would be amazing.
Super Mario Uncorked.
Okay.
Have you guys done animation both like by yourself in a booth and then also with other people?
I have. Yeah, I've done that, yeah.
What's that like?
That's a completely different experience. Yeah, I was able to work with other people in the booth, and then then you just feel like you're doing a regular old acting exercise. Yeah. I mean, when you get to work off of another performer, oh man, it's a whole different thing. But you know what though? You know what's fun when you're by yourself is you've got to tap into that childlike quality that you had when you were a kid. Because then remember, you had like if you had an imaginary friend. You'd imbue that imaginary friend 100%. With all these different kind of qualities, and you're like, oh no, she doesn't like cheeseburgers, or whatever the case, whatever the friend's deal is. So I would just be doing that with you guys in my mind. I would be seeing you in my mind. There's something very regal about this person, or something very intimidating about this person. You just have to go for it with your imagination like you would have when you were 8 years old.
I've done both where I'm done animation where you have a bunch of people in the room, and then I've done it also solo. I imagine for like the sound artist, the mixer, it's a nightmare to have a bunch of people overlapping one another, and so that's really complicated. But I think there's real value in assembling something in a rough mix when you're all together. You get that comedic value, that magic, the reacting, and that sort of juice that's, you know, these great improv comedians such as you guys, you know, Keegan and Jack and Charlie, you're throwing stuff out there. There's a magic that's happening, a synergy of having performers in a room together. And then if you could assemble it there, it might be a nightmare for the mixer. But then you could just go back, disassemble it, and get the lines independently and reassemble it the way that it was assembled in that magical way. I think that's the best version of doing it. Also, it's a lot of f***ing around and a lot of wasted time because you can't throw a bunch of us in a room together and expect us to efficiently work. It immediately turns blue. We immediately start just doing bits for each other.
Release
and
the
it probably
actors.
derails immediately. So
Release the
behave.
actors, right? Exactly.
Don't behave well.
Also, but you know, sometimes another thing interesting, Anya, is that they make animated movies differently, right? So some people make animated movies where they're animating to the voice. And if they're doing that, then it's like, yes, please let us improvise and do whatever we want, because then the animators can work it on the back end.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of fun. In fact, Chris, you and I did do it together with Lego Movie.
Yeah, we did something together.
Remember that big room? There was a big room of actors. Like there were like 6 of us in the same room at the same time. Yeah.
I remember.
I think I did Lego Movie too. I did some stuff with Will Arnett and Elizabeth Banks.
Phil Lord and Chris Miller, they had previously done animation, but then they went and did 21 Jump Street, and Jonah and Channing kind of improvising together. They realized, I remember having that conversation with them, they realized there was a real value to letting these actors perform and discovering some magic that wasn't on the page, and that was why they then wanted in the Lego Movie for some comedians to be in the room together. And it worked, but also it really didn't. It gave them a good shape to help them write as they're refining the script, come up with some great improvisation, get some magic. But ultimately, you have to go and carve that stuff out singularly so that the sound, designer can really put their magic touch on it.
We could all get together in a room and just improv some stuff. I would like that.
Should.
Yeah,
Seriously,
I would dig hanging out with
that
you
would
guys,
be fun.
so.
If we get to do this again, I would love nothing more than for all of us to be together and to be able to play in that way. However, I will say that the enjoyment and love that I felt towards being able to sit down as an audience member and just watch you guys go, it was awesome. I had such a good time, and there is a real beauty in that. I just loved it. I loved watching you guys. You did such a good job.
Well, back at
Thank
you.
you. Back at you.
Right back at you.
If you were holding back, I mean, thank you for doing it. Yeah, you really would outshine us if you gave any more.
Well, this has been so fun, you guys.
Bye, Anya. See you next week.
Bye,
Bye,
Anya.
guys.
Bye, Anya.
Bye, Anya.